Cars are extremely useful, but if you're not careful, they can become a major headache for your finances. And today I'm going to share with you how much you should save for your car. First, you want to know what car you're looking for and how much does that car normally sell for at a fair price. Don't be looking to spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 less than sticker price for the vehicle or for what that vehicle is currently selling for used. You want to make sure to be able to pay a fair price because those super low prices usually are some kind of a problem with the title or there's something wrong with the vehicle. So when I was looking for my most recent car that I bought 4 years ago, what I was doing was looking around. I picked out a car that was reliable, that was a good brand, a Toyota Corolla, and I got it 2010 was the year on it. So at the time, it was about 10, 11 years old, and I was okay with that because instead of having to pay $25,000, $30,000 for a brand new vehicle, I would be able to purchase it for around $6,000 to $7,000. And that's what I did. The person was selling it for $7,500 and I ended up paying $6,500, and I'll run through some of the numbers here to know the true cost of that vehicle. But if that sounds crazy or way out of reach, it's something where if you're budgeting your money, you're saving regularly, maybe you're using your parents' vehicle, maybe it's something where you just got a vehicle that is on its last leg. Saving up and being able to purchase a vehicle outright is extremely helpful instead of buying something, being stuck with maybe a much newer or much more expensive vehicle, and then be paying it off for the next 5, maybe even 10 years. It's a mess if you're in those payments and things because the interest rates on those are very high. I would encourage you to save up and buy it outright. So let me share with you kind of how it ran through for me, and hopefully it can give you some tips here. So first, the car, $6,500 is what I negotiated it down to. I spent $25 to have the vehicle. The owner dropped it off at an auto shop's place, and the mechanics went over the whole thing to make sure it was all good. That cost me $25, and I hadn't even bought the car yet. But $25 to have them check everything to make sure everything was good actually turned out to be very good cost savings wise because they recommended the shocks be replaced in the rear of the vehicle. And they said, yeah, it's going to be a real bumpy ride. It's not ideal. We would encourage you to replace the shocks. So I went to the owner and said, hey, so they want to replace the shocks. It's going to cost $500. Would you split the cost with me? So then I'm able to get it all squared away. And yeah, I'm totally willing to buy the vehicle. Let me buy it and then cut off that $250, that half the cost for that replacement part. So we did that. It was very helpful there. So that $25 ended up saving me, $250 down the road. That was very good. Next, you got to remember some of the costs when you purchase a car. There's taxes on it, there's license plates, and all those things. You should be looking at the cost of the vehicle. That's at a fair value price, so $6,500. And then I'd encourage you to save another 20, 25% on top of that for any repairs in the first couple months, but also for the taxes, the plates, and all the rest. To remember, you do have to have insurance on cars. It is a bummer, but it's actually very helpful so that you're able to be in a good place if you ever got into a wreck, whether it's your fault or their fault. It's all good, and it's also the law. Then just ongoing costs you have to remember about. Yes, you've got insurance, you've got gas, you've got oil changes, you've got tags that probably have to be redone annually. It is a lot to remember and a lot of things to take care of, but you have to do it. If you forget oil changes, your motor's going to get wrecked. If you forget regular maintenance or the different legal stuff, you're going to get in trouble. And yes, down the road, you'd love to get a Tesla or something electric where you don't have to do oil changes. There's less maintenance, hopefully, over time. But unfortunately, right now, electric cars are very expensive. So unless you have a very high budget for your car, it's probably going to be tough to get that in the short term. Now, with that being said, there is kind of a best rule of thumb. You shouldn't be buying a vehicle that's more than half of your annual income. So if I make $30,000 a year, on paper I should be able to spend about $15,000 for my next vehicle. But I'll have to save that up and all that stuff. It's just not recommended to be buying a $30,000 vehicle on a salary of $30,000. So that's kind of just a good guideline. I think Dave Ramsey, he shares that a lot. Then over the past 4 years, what are the repairs I've had on that vehicle? I had to put in a new alternator, which was $150, and I had a friend of mine put it in. He's a pilot. He flies and drives Jeeps and off-roads and backcountry crazy stuff. It was really awesome that he was close by and could install it for me, so that saved me a little bit. But yeah, $150 for a new alternator, and then $450 about for new tires that I picked up a while ago. And I suppose there's stuff like, oh, was there a transmission flush in there, different stuff. There's going to be costs and expenses there, but thankfully, for now, the vehicle has been very, very reliable. I bought it with 99,000 miles on it, and it's now at 120, 130 about, and it's been going really good. So, saving over time. Yes, save for the amount of the car, 20% extra. Make sure that when you purchase your vehicle, you're not draining all of your savings and all of your emergency fund to purchase this vehicle. What you want to do is you still want to have a good emergency fund of 3 months of emergency expenses if something were to go wrong. Like you buy the car, then you break your arm, you can't go to work. Like, yeah, it'd be crazy for all those things to line up, but they literally can line up. When it rains, it pours is the idea there. But yeah, and then while you wait to get your car, maybe you got to ride a bike. Maybe you got to use someone else's car. Maybe you got to use what you have currently, and it's not very good, but it is going to get you by. Make sure to be educating yourself on vehicles as you're saving up. So maybe you start out, I want a Subaru Forester, and I want this car 100%. And by watching videos, maybe you're like, well, maybe that is my first choice, but maybe I've got a second choice here. Maybe I've got this other thing. Maybe I've got, these different ideas of what you could be getting. So you're able to have an open mind of here are some good options. Here are some good reliable options. Because yeah, you want a car that's hopefully less than 10 years old. Over 10 years, there's some troubles because there's certain things on vehicles that will start to degrade. If you get it less than 10 years, you should be fine on a good, reliable car. Less than 150,000 miles on it, it just depends on how long you want to be driving the car and how much maintenance you want to do. Under 100 or under 150 is awesome if you're able to afford it. And then make sure good brand, good make, good model, a reliable car, a clean title, not a salvage title, clean title, no past crashes or accidents, fair market price, and no red flags by the seller or the dealership. You just want it to be a good process. You don't want to, at the end of the day, be like, yeah, I saved $4,000, but then you have to put it into repairs down the road. Please make sure you check everything out and be willing to walk away from any kind of deal if it doesn't work for you. So I hope that these tips have been helpful for you guys, but that's my encouragement for you guys to save for your first car. And yeah, save for the car, that 20% extra. Don't drain your whole bank account to do it. And I hope that it really helps you guys out. Definitely leave your comments down below and like the video if this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.